Welcome to Be My Own Boss podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hruby, and we're defending your self-employment. This is episode 56. It's titled, How Lies Become Laws. A lot of people wonder. It's part 3 of the series because there's so much to cover. And today we're going to showcase the engine room of the lies becoming laws. If it were a machine, it would be the engine room. And not receiving enough video. I'm getting a. Okay, we're gonna proceed as well as we can. YouTube is trying to teach me something that I don't know yet. All right, Class 7 is the pro-union nonprofits that are very influential in developing and spreading information, or really misinformation, about a topic like independent contracting and self-employment. It includes big institutions like Boston College, Boston University, University of California, down to smaller individual entities. They're all 501c3s, and thinking of the National Employment Law Project, NELP. And their job is to build biased and false research projects, to hand out reports using unscientific methods, by limiting their data set, by coming to slanted conclusions, and cherry-picked individual statements by people who always carry the message for them. They come to imprecise or erroneous conclusions, and their really entire purpose is to confuse and decoy legislators and the public and the media, we'll talk about that in a second, with the pro-union slant. What you'll see them doing most often is you'll see them testifying before Congress and the state legislatures. You'll see them writing articles. Sometimes they'll write an entire book. That happens frequently, and some of them are very influential in the circles that use the lies. They all lead to unionizing as the very best thing for every American, for anything that ails any American at all. If this whole operation were in a company, it would definitely be the R&D lab, because here's where the new stuff is generated and disseminated. It's disgusting to watch because it's all inaccurate. These people present themselves as cool, detached, professional, above it all, impartial. They're not. They are paid performers in an odd form of theater. So, Class 8 is a consumer of the lies that the R&D lab generates. These are pro-union media reporters. The pro-union adjective there applies both to the media, like Bloomberg and Reuters and the mainstream media, and to the reporter, who's always young, new at their job, very eager, emotionally very eager for approval by the rest of the system, the lying system. So they need to get it right, but they have access to every other class of the system. So they have a premier position. It would be nice for the other side to have that kind. But this is the part of the business that disseminates the lies rapidly and quickly. If this were, I keep thinking of machinery since this is a system, but if this were a farm operation like Ricard versus Solomon versus Filburn dealt with, the media would be the manure spreader. It gets this stuff all over, tries for an even coating, leave no part uncovered, and get those lies out there where they can be doing the most damage. Class 9 includes past and current justices of the Supreme Court. A surprise participant, did you know? In particular, the starting gun really was the justices who in 1942, you remember that, right? They decided a case in particular named Rickard versus Filburn, which endorsed the total falsehood that a couple of acres of a farmer's wheat grown for consumption by the farmer's livestock was an item of interstate commerce and therefore deserving of the full force of federal law as written by the legislation, by the Congress, and passed by the President, signed by the Senate. It's wheat for your own consumption it's not economic, it's not commerce, it's certainly not interstate. So what the court did was it betrayed all Americans, 4 generations so far of Americans, full independence to work across state lines, and it gave the federal government power to regulate literally every single economic activity that you can think of. It's all they abolished the effective Commerce Clause. The damage continues to this day. We still have justices on the Supreme Court who do loony things, like a woman who says she doesn't know what the definition of woman is. If she doesn't know what the definition of woman is, how is she going to reach a judgment on a case involving economic freedom like independent contracting? This is a major stone in the road for improving the law, guaranteeing the freedom of independent contractors. Believe it or not, the Supreme Court is in on it too. Class 10, last and perhaps the most powerful, definitely the driving engine behind the whole system. Union bosses, along with their senior staffers and most of their activists, all represent their attack on independent contractors as vital, it's crucial, it's urgent, it's absolutely essential to preserve the public's betterment. It is a total falsehood. Everybody who is self-employed knows that they're self-employed for a very good reason, and that they might well not be able to sustain themselves if they weren't. Times are difficult sometimes, and you have to do it, even if you're a self-employer and perhaps don't want to be. It's still your choice. And in order for the unions to fight your opinion, they have to have this entire system of links to prop up their lies. So the union bosses have started, promoted, maintained, and persevere in keeping this system of lies going, because if any one link falls apart, the whole thing will be seen to be the emperor's new clothes. It's all a lie. So it takes a lot of effort to maintain this type of system with 10 different layers. It takes a lot of effort and money and preparation and training. And so we're going to have to fight back, push back against that, and find the weak links and try to get our freedom. So to wrap up this series, here you have 10 classes of willing liars telling manufactured untruths in this anti-self-employment system. Lies need liars. I didn't realize that until we started this series. A lie by itself has no momentum, no audience, no nothing. But if you have a liar, then now you've got the beginning of a system. And liars can never go off message, and they can never be honest, which is one of the great clues about our strategy, is that as long as independent contractors are simply honest, they can cut through and start to weaken the opposition. So we've learned that a lot of individual Americans, I am sad to say, will happily lie, stretch the truth, impersonate others, impersonate independent contractors, commit perjury, make up facts, make up entire stories, find witnesses to, bear false witness against their neighbors, betray their professional judgment or betray their oath of office, all to make a buck. It's just impossible that this is actually an element of our judicial system, is this attack on independent contractors. The unions have learned that lies need liars, and so they've assembled this marvelous system of generating and perpetrating lies, and this has existed for 87 years. And it's definitely time to stop it. And the years 2025 to 2026 are going to be as good as any that we're likely to have to bring these to a swift end. There are opportunities in here. We've started to uncover them. I hope you'll like this episode. I hope you'll follow the channel. And I hope that you will subscribe so that we can send you the alerts. I'm your host, Mike Hruby. This is the Be My Own Boss podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.